This is our disaster relief trailer. It has a 2-inch ball hookup, and it has 2 safety chain hookups. Here's the pin. You got a breakaway wire on the brakes. I call this a 7-way RV plug. I'm not sure that's the technical name, but and then on the tires we have 4 tires, 15-inch, 14 ply, and they call for around 95 pounds of air, full air inflated.
Supplies, things you may need while you're out on the road or operating this. We got a cabinet here. The oil's in there. You got a full oil change worth of oil, or to top off as you need it. You have an oil filter up there. It's an open element. And then you got 2 fuel filters, and I'll show you where all this stuff is. Inside, there's a couple of chocks you put underneath the tire if you need to change the tire. You got a jack, and you got a lug wrench in here. Okay, what's not in here is, it's on order, it's coming, is we got a spare fan belt for it. It'll be located in this cabinet. We're also going to have a couple of extensions for our plug-ins on the power panel back there. 2 50-amp extensions and 1 30-amp extension. They'll all be in this cabinet here. And they should all fit up to an RV and up to our plugs and all that. So that's what's not here, but it will be. Right over here.
Yeah.
Here's your 2 diesel filters right here. You can drain you start seeing water in here, bottoms. You can take a little cup or something to stick underneath here, and you roll this back just a little bit, and then drain the water out of the bottom of it. This is the first one. It should pick it up first. You can see a little spout. There's actually a place to put a hose on it. Your oil filter is right here. You reuse the case. That's that open element that's in that box in there. The antifreeze back here, your coolant, is back here for your overflow for antifreeze. And there's also a cap up top where you can visually check it. You check the oil right here, the engine oil. Right here is where you get the level reading on it. You drain it, the oil. Right here, did you get that valve?
Yes.
Make sure that valve stays closed unless you are changing the oil. And there's a hose to screw into here once you pull this plug, where you can get it out away from the trailer a little bit. This is where you add fuel. This is your fuel intake. And I'm going to go through that with you while we're talking about this stuff. The fuel intake is a little bit different on this. You have a 150 gallon tank and a 250 gallon tank. They're separate, but we treat them as one. There's a reason for it. So before you start the machine, and this will be added to the checklist, this valve right here that sits between your tanks should be in the open position. It could stay open once you get it out in the field and start using it. If you close this, this tank will overflow, and this tank will pull a vacuum. This is the vent to keep that from happening, right here, and it vents up inside. So you fill it here. Now the reason this is important, when you go to add diesel to this, it will gravity feed down in here to this bottom tank. It'll be a little slower on the bottom tank. You're still putting it in the top tank and it's running through. So, but that's the way you do it. If you're in a big hurry, you pull that, but you better have that valve shut. And when you put that back, you better make sure it seats, or that top tank will drain through whatever leak you create when you take a cap off. Fuel gauge, right back here. Main thing to understand about this, you got 1 gauge. You are reading the level of the top tank. So when that goes empty, you still have 250 gallons below you that you can't read, and there's no place to put a deal on it. All right? Those are the preps for it.
Now when you get this to wherever it's going to go and you get it set up, the first thing to do before you start it is we're sending this ground rod along with it. There we go. All right. This is an auger type ground rod. You don't want to put this in mud. You don't want to put it in hard ground because it won't go down, but you want it in undisturbed soil. And you just start screwing it in and try to get it down within a foot, 18 inches of the ground. The more you get in the ground, the better ground you got. The ground clamp is right here on the back. You can put this clamp on the handle or on the rod, it doesn't matter. But it's got a little hole in the end here. Once you get it wherever it's going, take you a screwdriver or something and make sure it's tight. But that's very important to make sure nobody, if anything ever happens, you don't want somebody to get shocked when they come up and touch the trailer. And when it's over with, you just screw it out and put it back down. This is that's where it stays. Okay, now when you get ready to start it, it's this back panel back here on the top. If anything ever happens and something starts and you got to turn it off, it does have an emergency stop switch here on the back that you can just run up, hit it, and it kills everything till you figure out whatever happened. It's got a knob on here on how to reset it, the arrows, if you use it and then get ready to turn it back on again. So when you get ready to start it, you're going to put it on manual. Auto is not used. That's another situation for if you're leaving it hooked up and it comes on when the power goes off somewhere. We'll always have it on manual. It does have glow plugs, so if it's cold weather, make sure this light goes off. If it's hot, it'll go off immediately. See, it went off quickly. And then start it on low. When it's in the low engine speed setting, you're never going to get true voltage that you're looking for because the engine's not idled up yet. But the book says, and it's got it down here in operation 2, if you forget, it says to let it idle for about 5 minutes before you start using it. Just make sure everything's good. Once you get to the spot that it's idled up, you're ready to use it, you're going to flip this to high speed. And that's where it'll stay while you're using it. Now the voltage will read right. See, the voltage has come up. The hertz have come up. For people that don't know, in America, it's 60 hertz is what you want to stay by. You should never have to adjust that. The voltage we're using is 220, 128. If for some reason that voltage isn't right per leg, you can adjust it, but you should never have to. So far in all of our testing, it's never changed. But 128 single on 110, 220 on the 220 side. And you can turn this while it's running. And see, it just reads another leg. It doesn't do anything different. This breaker is that supplies everything to this breaker. So this has to be turned on. And now you'll have power for this main breaker, which is still off.
So we flip that on.
Okay. Turn that on. Now you've powered up your breaker panel. And then each one of these is marked 50 amp circuit 1 and 3. 1 and 3. This breaker feeds that plug. Every one of them are marked to which breaker it goes to. So if you plug one into circuit 10 and it doesn't work, you can come over here and find circuit 10 and find out if it's kicked or not. When you get ready to stop using it, you're going to turn this breaker off first, then turn this breaker off, and then they recommend turn it back to low and let it idle and cool down for about 5 minutes again. And then after it's cooled down and everything, see how the voltage came down when you put it to low. After it calms down, you just turn it on.